Well, good afternoon, everybody, to our Leaf Open Farm Sunday Zoom on discovering everything about Open Farm Sunday, with a particular focus on people doing Open Farm Sunday for the first time. But if you've done it before, hopefully there are lots of top tips for you. So my name is Annabelle Shackleton and I manage Leaf nationally. And we've got Jess Madge here, who's the other key part of the team. So when you ring into the office or ring in and contact Leaf, then we're the key people that you'll be directed to. But then we also have access to our ambassadors and lots of other people with lots of experience about Open Farm Sun. So the way it's going to work, we've got a few PowerPoint slides. I'll just do a brief introduction, and then Lorna's going to talk about her event. Welcome, Lorna, from down in the southwest. And then we've got Kate from Surrey. Welcome, Kate, joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, thank you both of you for being brave and coming along to talk about your first Open Farm Sunday event. So fantastic. So let's get the presentation up. So now I'll just share my screen and right, hopefully can everybody see that? Fantastic, that's great. So Open Farm Sunday, we're all about connecting community, building insight, understanding and trust. So couple of things for you, whether or not you've registered yet or not, and whatever what Open Farm Sunday is about. It's that very, very special experience of connecting the public and your local community with you and your farm, so that you can showcase your commitment to more sustainable farming and building that trust and demand for British produce. I could talk for hours about the impact of Open Farm Sunday, but we have our impact report on the website. And today it's very much about the farmer's experience. But a couple of things that you please do remember as host farmers, that we love you to get involved. It is completely up to you how you run your Open Farm Sunday event. You decide on the size and type of event to run, events rate 30 people through to 3,000 and more. And today's farmers here actually have two very contrasting events. So, but yes, you can manage visitors using our free online ticketing system. And our next Zoom is actually specifically about that try booking service that we recommend that people use. So if you're interested in using it, please join our next Zoom. And don't forget, it's free to register, and there are lots of free resources. So just a couple of facts and figures. So last year we had 180,000 farmers that took part. It's a 50-50 urban-rural split. And what I love on this slide is the little pie chart on the right. It just goes to show that Open Farm Sunday really is for the whole family. We actually, there are some hosts, some farmers who actually don't want children on their farm, and they actually say that they just wish to invite adults and they request that no children come. That's absolutely fine. But this is overarching over all of our hundreds of events across Britain, the majority of family events. So, and then my other favourite stat that I love on there that you'll hear me say regularly is that 95% of visitors who attended an event last year said that they had came away with a better understanding of what's sustainably produced food, which is brilliant. So, and 94% rated their events as excellent. Just fantastic. Some lovely quotes there as well. Great to see the agricultural industry being more transparent and trying to educate the public. And really great open day. We learned a lot and had a lovely time. Get some amazing feedback. So for all of you who are hosts, the first thing you need to do is register your event on the website, farmsunday.org. And then one of the benefits of opening your farm through us, apart from being a part of Farming's annual open day, is that we do offer lots of free resources that you can order from our online shop. And our shop will open on the 1st of March. There's a range of different materials there. There's posters, flyers, postcards that you can overprint with your details, the big gate banners. the top right, the sign where there's the big logo and white space, so you can draw arrows on, you can write car park, whatever you want, ask me badges. We have lots of free resources. So once you're registered, you'll start getting our OFS update emails, and that's where we'll keep you up to date. So we've also I've got to promote our in-person meetings. Last year we ran one meeting in Northamptonshire. This year we're running two, one up in Yorkshire on the 20th of March and one down in Berkshire at the Yattenden, on the Yattenden estate at the 26th of March. If you can spare a day away from the farm, and if you can come and attend, that it's a great opportunity. We've got we're lining up some really inspiring speakers, sharing their Open Farm Sunday experience. There'll be workshops as well. We'll have someone from the Leaf Education team there imparting some of their knowledge. And it's just a great opportunity just to meet with other farmers. And then, of course, these Zoom meetings. And our next one, as I said, is on the 27th of February. Ticketing events, how to use and why to use Try Booking. So we've got lots of great Zooms. So join us, grab a cup of coffee. And then the last thing to just say is thank you to you. These are some wonderful photographs of our fabulous farmers. Every farm is different, every farm is unique, but whatever you do for Open Farm Sunday, welcoming the public onto farm, sharing your farming story on farm on Open Farm Sunday is fantastic. So that's my little brief introduction over. So Lorna, can I pass over to you if you could give a brief introduction to your farm and then talk about your first Open Farm Sunday event?
So I'm Lorna and we're dairy farmers from Honiton down in East Devon. This was our first event in 2024. I signed up, I think it was in January to do it. And then I just kind of spent a couple of months really thinking about the type of event I wanted to run, how I was going to do it, who else I wanted to get involved, and how many, other farmers I could get to come and support it and help me on the day. We have two dairy units, but we also have a milk vending machine. And I do other educational things. I go into schools to give assemblies. I do a video link with a primary school, and I know all the sorts of things that children like to ask, but because of the milk vending machine, I also hear some quite interesting questions from adults. And so I wanted to kind of pull all those things together and have an event where people could really explore the farm in a safe manner, but they could also get lots of tidbits of information as they went round, have lots of people available to talk to them, and hopefully they would go away with a better understanding of how a farm operates and what we're actually doing. So I have social media for myself, but also for the milk vendor machine. I did a countdown campaign, which was also my kind of ticking off my to-do list. So from day 30 before the event, I start putting up a post every single day counting down and either sharing something like, please remember to wear sensible shoes, or something that was actually going to be happening, which people could get involved with on the day as well. So it was a whole mixture of different posts. That went really well. That was on both Facebook and on Instagram. I also signed up to the Try Booking, and I had about 100 odd bookings that way, which was really good. So that kind of gave me I sort of knew that people were seeing the information and that hopefully they were going to come. We also had a Facebook event set up for it as well, which I kept sharing around all the local town and village groups. And I actually was also interviewed on the day itself by BBC Radio Devon. They interviewed myself and a couple of other people, and that was a bit of a random one. I was a bit cheeky and I asked them if they'd like to interview me, and they said yes, thank goodness. So again, that was just another way of getting it out there that we were doing it. It was another thing to talk about on our socials as well. So I kind of went all out. I made really good use of the free resources. I put posters up everywhere that would let me, basically locally. I had the little postcards I overprinted with our details on the back. They were in our milk shed. People could pick them up when they came in. I sent a whole wad into my daughter's primary school and said, if the teacher doesn't put them in the bags, please can you? So she did. I emailed about 30 local primary schools plus the local comprehensives and asked them to share the details. Some of them did, some of them didn't. So I just I just tried my best, really. And all the local businesses who I asked to help as well. So, like our vets, the local tractor dealership, the contractors, I also asked them to share it if they were willing to do so. So I kind of went all out on the publicity. I wanted it to be a success, but I was really aiming for about 300 people to come. We ended up with about 1,000. So the publicity side obviously worked, and it was a really nice day as well. The week before, the weather wasn't great. On the day itself, the weather was fantastic, as you can see in some of these pictures. My brother's really good with the camera, so he came down and took some photos for me. So we set it up that basically people, when they arrived at the farm, we had the young farmers stewarding the car park, making sure people were parking sensibly, and also when they left that they could get out back out onto the main road safely as well. We had the big poster up on the side of a cattle box a couple of weeks beforehand, so as people were driving past, they could see that. And I also went on Amazon and found some nice cow print flags that we put up also. When people came in, we had a hard track that they could come down if they had wheelchairs or a mobility scooter, but they could also walk in past the cows, and there was various information boards as they came down through the cows down to the main farmyard. And then we basically set up almost like a circular route that people could go round. There was different things happening. We had sheep shearing, we had a pig with her piglets, we had the young farmers doing a barbecue, we had a haymaking demonstration, we had various food and drink stalls as well. And people could just kind of flow round independently and they could explore different things. We had the industry experts dotted about strategically as well, so people could stop and chat to them, or they could just kind of mingle around. And it was just the flow of people from 10 minutes before our event officially opened. It was a continuous flow of people moving around the farm. I did go out and check that my cows hadn't had a complete head fit at all these people walking past them. I was worried that they might be in the corner of the field hiding, but no, my cows were absolutely loving it. And it was really nice. There's people there with their mobiles taking a selfie with the cows behind. And I swear a couple of the cows were really enjoying all the fuss and attention because they were all kind of stood up there by the wire and watching everybody coming in and out. I did ask that nobody brought a dog onto our farm for the health and welfare of our cows. And everybody except for one person left their dogs at home. The one person that brought a dog did then come and apologise to me. But I did also say, because obviously guide dogs and registered assistant dogs can't be refused entry, I had put that on our publicity that if you had a guide dog, please call me and we would have a conversation. But we did ask for no animal, for no dogs to be coming in. My own dogs were shut away for the day. So as you can see, we had loads of different things happening. And I think it was because I'd taken all the things that I'm asked by children when I go into schools and I'd kind of try and pulled everything together. I think we just had a really nice mix of different things for people to do. We had some hands-on activities, so they could plant some sunflower seeds, they could mill wheat. You can see the cow that my children made a couple of weeks beforehand. They could have a go at milking the cows. There was loads of traditional machinery and also really modern machinery for people to look at as well. My husband was very interactive in the bottom right photo. That's my husband with his haymaking demonstration. He really got into that and he found it really exciting to talk to people about what was happening. And my youngest daughter actually did a nature trail that people could do around the farm. Some people did, but it did kind of take everybody away from the main activities. So although it was a good idea, I think perhaps it was just one of those things that maybe it should have been a standalone thing, really. We also relocated our milk vending machine for the day so that people could actually get the milk when they were there and they could have milkshakes. And about 2:30, we brought the cows in and we started afternoon milking a bit early. But I'm going to do that differently this year because the cows came in and then there were 65 people wedged in one side of the parlour with their phones out, ready to take pictures of them. And my cows were not really very happy about all the extra attention in the parlour. So we had to kind of get a couple in and then they started to come in okay. But it was good. People saw the cows being milked. They saw that it's, quite a quick process and that the cows are then going straight back out afterwards. And people did enjoy that and they asked lots of questions as well. So there's lots of opportunities for different people to get involved and, help people out and give them lots of tidbits of information. everybody I asked was really happy to do that and to give up their time to do it as well. And they really enjoyed the experience of speaking to the public about what they do within their sector. So if it was the vets, they could be talking about, modern vetting and how it looks like. I've got a friend who works for AHDB. She came to talk about all the different things that we make with milk and how milk is promoted and lots of other information about that. So it was a really good mix, I think, of what we did. I was absolutely exhausted afterwards. I don't think I slept for a week, so I was absolutely exhausted come the end. But it was a really, really good experience. Everybody who helped last year has already asked me what the date is this year so that they can come and help again. So yeah, it was. I would definitely recommend it to everybody to do it. So we even had people coming on the way home from the Royal Cornwall show, and they've made the effort to come in on their way home, which I was really surprised about as well. So it
Wow.
wasn't just really local people, it was people that had seen it advertised and they decided that that was part of their route home, basically. So yeah, it was really good.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Lorna, that sounds amazing. Absolutely amazing. That's brilliant. Right, let's go on to our next slide. And Kate, would you like to talk about your farm, why you took part in Open Farm Sunday and your event?
Hi everyone. So we're in Surrey, 270-acre mixed farm. And what's really excellent, actually, and I'm sure this was planned by Jessica, is that the complete opposite of Lorna, and so I feel slightly inadequate listening to Lorna's amazing presentation. Mine was really quite opposite in the fact that I came up with joining. I think I only heard of it about 3 weeks before, maybe 2, 3 weeks before. So mine was completely off the hoof and very last minute. My t-shirt arrived the day before, if I remember rightly, and I got a little bit of posters and things sent through the post that arrived with the t-shirt the day before. So I absolutely winged it, which I actually live my life a little bit like that. So it's no great surprise. But anyway, the reason I wanted to do it was because we're doing so much stuff across the estate for wildlife. I'm doing sort of agri-wilding, if you could call it that. It's also regen ag. We're looking at the soil health and trying to use our cattle to improve soil health, but we're also trying to do some arable farming. I did have a market garden last year as well, which I tried to start because one of the things I've been trying to promote is that we all need to eat more locally grown organic veg. And then you think, well, hang on a minute, certainly around here, nobody's growing organic veg. And the reason is you can't make any money, which is why I'm not doing it anymore. But I do plan to start it again because it's the right thing to do. I've just got to find the right model. So I was very much trying to get people in. We did throw it out on our social media, but as I say, it was all quite last minute. We had 40 people, which I thought was actually quite a lot. It felt really successful as the day. But I ran it on my own, so completely different. So I needed it to be small scale because it was last minute. I was here on my own, ran it by myself, didn't really have. So I've made some good notes to get some support from other people. Even the person who works with me on the farm, he wasn't available. So as I say, I was on my own, but it went really well. The day was very well received. I just did a tour of basically the main things. So the piglets, the cattle, and just like Lorna's cattle, mine absolutely loved it. So as soon as they saw people, they came wandering over. This particular one, my Highland there, she's my poster girl, actually, because she adores a camera. So she will pose from every angle, and everybody loved that. It was great to just stand and talk about the benefits of pasture-fed beef and why that's different and why cattle get such a bad name, which probably infuriates all of us because it's such misinformation. So it was really lovely to, despite having a small audience there, to actually talk about why grass and pasture-fed beef is completely different to what people hear about. and regarding methane and all of those things. So that was super. And what else did I do? I ran past where we're putting hedges, how we're changing the land, because one of the things that we're doing is planting lots of hedges. We are converting some of the arable to much more nature friendly, so planting wild bird seed um, and other and nature flower rich margins and things. So a lot of it was a case of, look, we're starting this now, so if you come back next year, you should see a difference, and so that will be interesting. So for advertising, we put it on our social media and we used Eventbrite, which because it was a free event, I was allowed a maximum of 15. I don't think we would use that again. So I'm very interested in understanding about this try booking. Yeah, so that bit was perhaps not because it ended up fully booked, and obviously that may have put some people off. But equally, it meant that it really kept it quite manageable for me trying to run it. So I had lots of families, lots of children, which is great. So people through my children's school heard of it. But I basically kept it really simple. We have done open things before, which I've done put a lot more work into, cost a lot more money. So I didn't, again, because I was on my own, I knew I couldn't run it like that. But it did exactly what I wanted it to do. People came, they had a great time, spoke really positive about it all, and then left again. And unlike Lorna, I wasn't quite so exhausted because my event was much smaller. So what did I learn? I would probably would like to do some more interactive things next time, like I've done before. Seed planting's a great one. Planting sunflowers, we've done that before on different events, and children love doing that, and just getting children a lot more active. And I will be a lot more prepared this year because I know that I'm going to do it. But I would recommend it to anybody because it's really good fun. And I went to the Oxford Real Farming Conference recently, and it is overwhelming, the support of just saying we need to get more people out onto the farms and understanding where their food comes from and understanding why the food choices matter, and just get people to start to appreciate what it is we're doing and why we're doing it, and actually the complexity involved in land management, because they understandably don't have a reason to know about these things unless we start talking about it. So I see it as a really important thing to invite as many people as possible onto farms and get them to learn more. So I'm definitely a convert, and I'll be doing it every year.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. Can I ask, Kate, how long was your farm walk, and how far did you go? Did you?
Admittedly, I did plan to do two, and I was planning to do one for the early arrivals and then one for a bit later on. I would think my walk was probably an hour by the time I did all the stopping and talking. We didn't walk all that far. I would think it normally, if you walk continually, you'd probably do that walk in 20 minutes. But with all the standing and talking about piglets and how we're feeding the pigs and why it's different, and the pasture fed and all the nature connectivity that we're trying to do across the land. So it was probably about an hour. But what ended up happening is once I got going, the people who joined a bit, they just joined the tail a bit and they caught up with us basically.
Fantastic. So interesting, what you were saying about the ticketing. Yes, try booking. You do come along to and join us in
Yeah, I will.
next
I've
soon.
already made a note of that.
But yes, try booking. If your event is free, then their service is free, and they will. I don't think there's a limit to the number of people that you can book with. But if you start charging, then there's a sort of 5% fee associated with it. So, and yeah, I'm just looking at some of the questions here. Lorna, did you find the experience financially draining? Worried about a lot of preparation, and financially it could be expensive with insurance and other small extras?
Okay, so
I know it's a bit controversial, but I'm interested in your
no,
thoughts. My husband went
100%.
off with me. He's
Yeah.
like, "Why are you doing this?" Because I've already had 50 bookings and I haven't advertised it. And I thought, oh, if I charge £1 per person, that's £50 towards all my time doing this marketing, creating posters, you know?
So with the insurance side of things, I sent the full risk assessment which Leaf supply you with. I filled it all out. I sent that to the insurers. Everything that I was doing was already covered on my policy. I wasn't doing anything outside the realms of our existing insurance policy. That being said, the one thing we didn't do that my husband really wanted to do, and I put my foot down and said no because it was our first year, was we didn't do a tractor and trailer ride. That will be an extra premium to do that. Basically, that won't be covered by our
Okay.
insurance. So we're doing one this year. And I've said we can't do the haymaking because I just think that's going to pull people in too many different directions. But that would be an additional cost. However, that is something you can charge people for doing because it's quite a specialist thing. And so I've asked already on the closed host group, and people are charging like £2 to £3 per person for a tractor and trailer ride. So I'm hoping that there'll be enough revenue from that to actually cover the extra insurance cost of running that particular activity. I asked, I basically probably maxed out on food because I got a lot of stuff through the NFU. I got, booklets and pencils and badges and one thing another. Our local NFU branch actually paid for the portaloos that we had to hire for the day. If you don't ask, you don't
Wow.
get. I was kind of going down that route.
Brilliant.
I know there are a couple of portaloo hire companies. However, though, if it's a charitable event, sometimes they don't actually charge, so it is worth asking. But no, I actually got those paid for. And I did a deal with the young farmers. So the young farmers did the hot food, and I sourced the sausages and the bacon and all the bread rolls, etc., locally. And basically, they gave me all the revenue from the hot food stand. So I could take out the initial food costs, but also then if there was any big expenses, I could take a bit of money back out. And then the rest of it, they wanted it donated to their chosen charity. So that was how we got around any other costs. So like things like
Okay, so yeah, sorry, you go.
no, so I'd had some posters made with information about the cows and everything on. So I basically reimbursed myself for that. And then the charity still ended up getting about £350 from the hot food stand, basically.
So you think having someone do hot food, because we did an apple day and we had 200 people come and we did the hot food, and that is the way I made my money because I've already advertised on my website this open farm Sunday, so I feel I can't start charging now because obviously that would be
No,
unfair on those who
no,
have booked. And I've already advertised the tractor trailer ride because that's how I'm going to do my farm tour because our animals won't cope with people walking in the field with them. They're
yeah,
not used to it.
yeah,
So I have to do a tractor trailer ride if they want to see the animals.
yeah.
And I agree. I'm already kicking myself because I'm thinking, but for next year, how are you going to are you already when you advertise your own farms on it? Are you going to have it on your booking link? Book, tractor trailer ride extra, or are you going to take
Yeah.
payment on the day with a card machine?
Yeah. So we've got a portable card machine for our milk vending machine anyway. The sum up card machines are only £35 on Amazon, and it works on an app on your phone. So we will have
Yeah, I've
one.
got one.
Oh, you got one, fantastic. So we will be using that basically, but it will be advertised that there will be a tractor and trailer ride for a small fee, and then where we're going to have like the pick up and drop off point for it, there will be a nice big sign there as well to tell people. So it will be advertised in advance that that is something they're going to have to pay for. And when we promoted it last year, we made it very clear that there would be refreshments available to purchase on the day as well. Some people bought picnics with them, and especially people with really young children, they obviously bought a bag of snacks and stuff. But we made it very
Yeah, yeah.
clear that there would be refreshments available to purchase on the day.
That's really good to know about young farmers. I think I might use them and save myself the stress because I want to sell fresh meat as well there on the day and, very similar.
to what Kate does. We've got Highland cows as well. So I loved what you were doing, Kate, and we're organic pasture for life. And I want to be talking about that. That's my passion. I don't want to be flipping burgers, but I'm stressed
no,
to
exactly.
do that
It's
because
really
what
hard.
my income is.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's just the money.
Yeah. Yeah, no, fair enough. And some people do charge. You know, the ethos of Open Farm Sunday is that events are free, but
Yeah.
you know, we do understand there are costs. I don't know if you listened to or joined us for our last Zoom, we had Andy Basin talking about his Open Farm Sunday event. He hired 7 toilets for Portaloos for 2,000 visitors, and he actually asked his business contacts to see if they would sponsor a toilet, and they did, and he got them all sponsored. So I think I think he's with NFU Mutual. I think his local NFU Mutual place hired one. His vet, machinery dealer, feed merchant. You know, different people involved. Don't be afraid to ask and say, "Look, I'm taking part in Farming's annual Open Day. Can you please support me?" And they may well come along and help, but they may well be willing to actually contribute to the cost of something like that. Got a question here about is there a cut-off to register? No. Open Farm Sunday events, the majority of them happen on the day itself, about 90%, but we do have 1 or 2 events that happen the weekend before or happen in June, but a couple of weekends after. And sometimes, yeah, I've had somebody phone up like the week before Open Farm Sunday to say that I want to do an event, but in 2 weeks' time, can I register? The answer is yes. So the main cut-off is actually us being able to send out resources to you and resources for you to be able to use. But what I would say is please register. If you are 90% sure you're going to be running an event, please register. Then you'll get the communications from us. When the handbook goes out, you'll get a copy of the handbook, and you can always cancel at any time. Things happen, you know, disasters happen and whatever. Or if the pressure gets too great and you just think, no, this is too much, you can at any point contact either Jess or I without any issues and just say, look, I'm really sorry, but we just can't go ahead. You know, we've had people break legs before now. We had a barn burn down and whatever. We are really understanding. Just because you've registered, we don't hold you to please do not hold an event, but keep it registered and keep it on the website. That happened once, and we had a few irate people saying that we've travelled to this Open Farm Sunday event, but there wasn't an event there. That's our nightmare. So yeah, please register as soon as you can. What else have we got? Is there a standard terms and conditions that you can use with your booking? I don't know that we actually have that, do we really? Jess, we don't have a standard terms and conditions. That's something interesting that we ought to look into, actually. Well done. I like that. Sorry.
Try booking well. So if you contact on their website and things, there'll be a standard terms and condition on try booking. We do have a try booking Zoom with the director of the company on the 27th, if I'm correct. So she can highlight that. So that's on the 27th of Feb.
Yeah. So as Jess just said, we'll actually have a demonstration actually going through their booking system. And because people say that these online systems are intuitive until you actually have a go, and they always fox me. So we're actually having a live demonstration on how to book an event, but we've also got a farmer speaking about how they use the ticketing service as well. And we've got a few examples to share. Someone mentioned about another one, insurance, putting up a tent to cover people if it's raining. I mean, you don't have to, you know, having a tent on site is kind of part of an Open Farm Sunday event. We have lots of people who say for the welcome desk, and that's one of the most important things, I think. And I love the feedback that we get from visitors, and one of the top things that comes up year after year is just how friendly all the farmers are and how welcome they felt on the farm. So to have a welcome desk is just, you know, you've ticked the box straight away, is just to be able to welcome people onto your farm, tell them what's happening where, perhaps hand out a map or have a picture of a map, and take a photograph. People can take a photograph of it, or just let them know what's happening where and when. Because your farm is a very, you know your farm inside out. Some of these people are potentially coming from local towns where they may not have been out in the countryside, or if they do, they drive by car to a car park, visit somewhere, and then come back. It's a completely alien environment to a lot of our visitors. So they want that welcome. They want to be shown, what to do. And so, yeah, having a tent, if you've got 40 visitors, you wouldn't need to go to that extreme necessarily, but to have a welcome tent, which is just a gazebo or something, that's fine. But what we say with insurers, you must have £5 million public liability insurance. And you must inform your insurers that you're taking part in Open Farm Sunday. You must do the risk assessment. And as was mentioned, there's a template in the back of the handbook, and we have it as a Word document that you can download. And tell them some insurance companies will charge for tractor and trailer rides. Some insurance companies don't. NFU Mutual have been fantastic since Open Farm Sunday started. They don't charge a premium, but I think regionally some will charge for tractor and trailer rides, but some don't. So yeah, but you must inform your insurance company. But I have heard that some premiums might be like £50 or something like that. And so hopefully you could get that back from expenses. There's a little bit of discussion here about money. One thing that came from one thing that came from our one of our Zooms last year was that Brixie's Farm, they used to have a bucket on a big event, thousands of visitors, several tractor and trailer rides, and they used to have a bucket that they used to shake for people to put their change in. People don't carry change now. So, nobody, the donations in the bucket were not covering the cost of, their costs for the event, which they wanted covered. And so they actually put a QR code. They produced some posters, got a QR code that went to did it go to a GoFundMe page or a I'll have to think about this. I don't know if you can remember, Jess, but it went to a page where they could then donate online. And they put these up around the place to say, look, we've loved welcoming you onto farm. There are costs involved. If you have enjoyed your day, please make a donation, as little or as much as you'd like to. We'll cover the costs from this event from the donation, and any surplus we will be giving to X charity. And on the day, they saw people taking photographs, but they didn't get many donations on the day. I think it came to about £300 or £400. But then actually within a few days afterwards, people then actually donated, and within a week they got up to about £900 or something like that from I think about 4,000 visitors. So, but it was a significant amount that actually helped to cover the costs, and they had a donation there to give to their chosen charity. So, does Leaf have any preferred sign makers for posters? No. Now, when you say sign makers for posters, we produce A4 flyers, A5 flyers, and postcards. We have boards which are sort of A3 size that you can add things on. But if you want to actually produce information signs that are professionally produced, then no, we don't have anyone that's a preferred supplier. We actually, for events that Leaf organises, because as a charity we have lots of activities that we do and lots of events that we organise throughout the year, and we actually quite often use online ones like PixArt printing and instant online services where you just upload your artwork and then things are sent to you, or use a local printer. But if you need any advice on anything like that, then drop us an email, and if we can help, we will help. So, any more questions? So what are people doing differently this year? Lorna or Kate, actually. Kate, are you thinking of running one event? Are you thinking of running one farm walk this year, or are you thinking of running
I should be
an open event?
More organised, and I will be certainly doing a lot more advertising and things like that. But I need to also think about parking, and because it's not that convenient. So I'm never going to have a huge event. I don't have that kind of setup. But I have been thinking that I will get some other farmers involved, actually, because quite a few of my neighbours wouldn't be in a situation where they would be able to hold something, but I know that they would love to come and talk about what they're doing. So Lorna particular has really inspired me to get a few of the others involved, so that
Brilliant.
because they're on the same page, so it'd be really great to involve them. And yeah, I think I'll start with that this year, and maybe do some hot food as well, because I really sympathise with Amelia, because I've done a few events before where I'm just been give, and I come away just thinking, oh my God, that's cost a fortune, and I've got really nothing back from that. What on earth did I do that for? And I can get carried away in my excitement of things, and that model just can't work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, and donations has worked for me before. So that just letting people know that if you've enjoyed your day, then it's really great to try and help me cover these costs. And people are really generous and kind, actually. So offering that as an option means that people don't feel fleeced, but they feel like they can, if they can give, they will. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you sell your meat direct to customers, did you say, Kate?
I do, yeah.
Yes. So did you get more new customers? Did you
No,
capture people's
I don't.
emails?
No, because most of the people that came are the people that follow what I do in the first place.
Right, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's something that some people do, is use Open Farm Sunday to actually try
Yeah, I
and
was going to
reach
ask Lorna
new
that, actually.
people.
Did you find that it's expanded your business?
I think it did, but because we had quite a few people not that local to us, they were traveling out, say, from Taunton, which is about a 15-minute drive away. It's then too far for them to make it a regular thing to come and fill up their milk bottles. I would say certainly local people who were coming in, that has helped. But obviously, we just had people from a wider area coming, so that was never going to have a long-term impact so much. But we started selling ice creams in our milk shed last summer, so we'll be selling ice creams this year as well. And we are there's a local really nice family who actually run a coffee shop on the side of the A30. They've offered to come and do the hot food, which means that I've been able to give the young farmers an even longer list of things I'd like them to do this year. And they've agreed to all of it already. So that's fantastic. So we're going to be doing apple pressing this year. We're going to be running a pancake making workshop, all with local ingredients. And they're going to be doing like a mock-up kind of tug of war as well, and a few other bits and pieces. So there's going to be more things for people to like kind of get their hands on and do in that area of the farm when they come to visit. And I'm looking at probably splitting out a small number of the cows so we can do a couple of just very small milking demos rather than bringing forward milking time and bringing the whole herd in. I think if we just split out just like a handful of the cows and say, right, at 1 o'clock there's going to be a small milking demo, and again at say 2:30, and just bring in just a small group of cows basically to do the milking with. I think that would probably work a bit better this time. I also asked, so we sell our milk to Saputo Dairy, who make Cathedral City cheese. They did send me a load of cheese, so we had like a bit of a tasting station. But I'd also gone and bought quite a bit of cheese as well, and we nowhere near had enough. So I'm going to have to make sure that either they give me a lot more this year or rethink that bit. Because we had it there at the front of the parlour before milking time. We had it out on a trestle table, freebies as well. So that was really popular. It's sort of kids just trying every different variety of cheese they could, basically. So just going to build on more of those things really this year.
Fantastic. So, last question. Kate, what would you say to somebody who's doing Open Farm Sunday this year but not actually registered, not quite done it yet? What's your top tip?
Well, as I say, I tend to wing it, and I would always say, yeah, just go for it, because it's a really good thing to do, and we need to involve our local communities a lot more, and yeah, get people thinking a little bit more about what we're doing out on the farms.
Fantastic. And Lorna, last final words of encouragement?
And just do it. I don't think anybody has the responsibility to tell the story of what we're doing on our farms other than us, because we're the best people to tell our stories. So yeah, just do it, because I don't think anybody will regret doing it. And it doesn't matter whether it's a very small personal event or whether you want to do something bigger. I think, you know, it's I don't think anybody will come away thinking, I wish I hadn't done that. I think everybody will come away buzzing from doing it.
Fantastic. Thank you so, so much. Kate and Lorna, absolutely brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, Jess, for helping. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And hopefully we'll see you at our next Zoom on the 27th of February, all about ticketing and managing visitor numbers.